Hello there, everybody. My name is Dean, and as you know, I'm Getty92 from the Getty92 channel. And today we're gonna do a very special episode, the first episode of this series, which will not be there as regularly as the Wash videos, but I thought about personal videos, in fact, and therefore this is the first kind of like vlog, as you would maybe call it. I'm just trying to figure out how to manage the sound here, because I don't really need headphones right now with you guys, because I'm talking to you to the camera and the camera angle is slightly different. So therefore this is kind of like a different kind of series. But some people of you said that they would be interested in some personal stuff and personal stories, and therefore the first thing that I already said a few episodes ago that I was going to talk about was the songwriting of Neil Peart, or especially, or in general, to say about songwriting and what songwriting means to a lot of people, and to some people what songwriting doesn't apply there. So therefore this video might require some cuts in there, because sometimes I need to really think carefully about what I'm going to say, because this involves a lot of like Wash content in terms of the songwriting of Neil. So bear with me, and if you manage to survive this video, you will know exactly why I sometimes say that a song isn't written in a good, effective way, at least for me. So why I'm talking about this? First of all, because I was actually already doing some music from the Vapor Trails album, which we all happen to know, which is the kind of like darkest album in terms of what Neil has gone through on his life, which was released in 2002. And I remember doing one episode here on the Getty92 channel where I was talking about a certain song which appeared on the Vapor Trails album, and a lot of people were not happy about my comments, because I actually was gonna say something, as far as I remember, about that the songwriting wasn't really strong on that song. And some people of you, which I totally understand from a fan point of view, said that my reaction video is kind of rubbish. It doesn't make any kind of sense, because I am not saying that I like the lyrics, which I think is very wrong on so many levels, and this is actually the reason why I try to explain this one, especially to you guys, because most of the songs, as you know, I have never heard of, because I'm strictly still staying to the R30 album and sometimes to the Roll the Bones album, and by now, as you read in some comments before, my girlfriend's favorite album is the Fly By Night thing, so I stick to these kind of 3 or 4 albums regularly, and therefore I honestly don't know much about the songs, about their background. So I'm kind of like a first listener in most cases, of course. And when I talk about this, I mean by that I have not heard the songs so far. So maybe a lot of songs, maybe I've heard a lot of songs. I'm not sure about Wash, because they are constantly on my shuffle playlisting thing. But as I said before in some episodes, you really need to listen to about 3 or 4 times to fully understand the song. And especially if you're not coming from a country where English is your first language, there's also a second barrier, which I will come later on through that video. So therefore I would like to talk about why I sometimes say, or why I will sometimes say, that the lyrics on the Vapor Trails album, without even knowing the songs now, wouldn't suit me perfectly. Or sometimes I would say that this special song that we've just heard on the Vapor Trails album is rubbish. It can happen, and I'm explaining to you why. First of all, as a musician myself, I am very proud of writing music my own way, in terms of like doing the melody, of course, but also on writing the lyrics to all of my songs. Actually, I don't collaborate with guys. I write the songs that I really would like to write about, and therefore I publish them in any kind of music form. So this, from a standpoint of view, when you're an artist, it's really important that you put a lot of effort in your songwriting, especially if you want to really get attention with the song. So I totally understand as an artist that song lyrics are really important. But as a listener, and there comes the big difference, it doesn't matter what the song is about. And I mean that really by my heart, that this also includes the Vapor Trails album. This also includes a vast majority of the songs of my really favorite band, Blues Traveler. As you might know, I'm not familiar with you all guys to a certain level. As you might know, Blues Traveler's original bassist, Bob Sheehan, died in 1999. And after that happening, there were some songs about how the band was actually dealing with that, or how the songwriter John Popper, the singer and harmonica player, how he dealt with the death of his best friend. And therefore I can really relate to some level that a lot of you hardcore Rush fan guys are really thinking that the Vapor Trails album especially is kind of like the deepest or darkest but most meaningful album to you guys. I totally understand that, because I know the background of the album and how many years it actually took to get this album done. I totally get that. I totally understand that. And therefore I actually wanted to try to import your feelings of Rush and Neil Peart and of the Vapor Trails album. I actually tried to import all these feelings to my personal life, and thinking about certain Blues Traveler songs that Blues Traveler has done in the past that are really meaningful in terms of something really bad happened and they wanted to write about, or John Popper wanted to write about that songs, whether it's a motorcycle crash, whether it's the death of his best friend and bass player Bob Sheehan, the original bass player on Blues Traveler, or whether it's some kind of like personal happenings. And some songs of Blues Traveler happen to be very political. If you are not going to listen to Run Around in Hook and But Anyway and Mountains Win Again or Carolina Blues, these are like their Tom Sawyers and Limelights, if you put it in that way. But they've made a lot of albums, and they've just actually released a few weeks ago a new album. But it's a blues cover album, so it doesn't matter that much. But they've released a lot of albums in the past, and like I said before, I wanted to think about certain songs that meant very much to the songwriter, that meant very much to the band, but I can't get that feeling. I really can't get that feeling, because I cannot feel the same way as the songwriter did. I give you an example, because I've already managed to write down some songs that have like a good impact on your life, but as far from the songwriting, it's a really sad song. For example, like the band ABBA, you may know them, they did a song called Mamma Mia. Look up the lyrics. The lyrics aren't that happy as the song is supposed to be, but we still celebrate the song, and we don't take really a lot of care about the lyrics, and this is an important thing there, as for a listener, not as for an artist. Eric Clapton, Tears in Heaven, it's the same thing. It's a great song. Everybody loves that song, even though we know that this song has a really sad meaning to it. Or for the newer generation, if somebody is here, Kelly Clarkson, Because of You, listen to R.E.M's Everybody Hurts, or listen to Johnny Cash's version of Hurt. These are all songs that we really love, or the majority of people appreciate them. If that song is on a party, everybody probably is going to dance to that song without taking care about the lyrics. And this is, I think, a really important fact about when you're a fan, or when you are try to like defend something what you don't have to defend. You know, everybody's free of speech, and so there everybody is like free to say that I don't like this song, but you guys like that song. I love that song and you guys don't love that song. This happens occasionally on the Getty 92 channel, of course it does. It's actually wrong to say that your opinion is the 100% opinion, even though it has very personal things to yourself. Maybe some guys of you, which I know, a lot of you guys grew up with kind of, well, like Rush. You constantly write down in the comment section that you have been to a Snakes and Arrows tour, or that you have been to a previous tour in the 80s and 90s, that you have seen them actually in the 70s, and I love that. And you kind of like grew up with the band. I did basically the same with Blues Traveler. When I was 16 years old, I discovered Blues Traveler because they're basically like unknown in Germany or Europe in general, so nobody knows them here. But I still don't see the point that if the artist is writing about something that really means something to them, that I'm kind of like forced to feel the same. I make a radical example here, a really radical one, which might hurt you, but I cannot help myself, because this is, I think, the perfect example of what I mean by that. If I imagine that, for example, my sister died, which has not happened yet because she's younger, 6 years younger than me, but just imagine that my sister died and I actually wrote a song about that, or I wrote an album about that. And I was gonna release that album. I cannot force the listener to feel the same feelings that I have felt when I was actually writing the song. So I cannot blame them if they are saying this song is cool, this song is great, but they don't know the real meaning behind it. And even though if they know the real meaning behind it, it's still always up to the listener, guys. It's always up to each individual member here on the Getty92 channel, or to each person over the world to look at arts. It's a very individual thing. And therefore I think it's fairly okay to say, especially when it comes down to Rush on the Vapor Trails album, I think I have the right, and everybody has the right, even though if you're a Rush fan, as I am, you have the right to say that the Vapor Trails album is not good. Which I think it's false, because we still have to listen to all of the Vapor Trails songs. But if it turns out for you personally that you don't like the Vapor Trails album, I've seen comments on Facebook that people really got virtually smashed because of saying those comments, and I think this is really wrong. This has sometimes taken a pathway to really like, almost like being racist to people. You know, not, it's a really hard thing to describe what sometimes is going on in fan communities, and therefore I think it's fair to say that if you don't happen to like a song from the Vapor Trails album, feel free. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at all, because at the end of the day, you are the person that is listening to that song, and you are not the artist. And I think it's fair to say as well, and I've said this before, and that the lead singer of Blues Traveler, John Popper, I told you before in a very briefly statement that I did, he was actually talking about that same kind of matter, that as for artists, a song totally matters. Of course it does. But it doesn't matter to the audience. They want to have a good time, they want to listen to a song that they like, or they want to skip that song that they don't like. But it doesn't have anything to do of what the artist is originally going to intend with that song. So guys, have a great day, and see you soon with the new episode. And as usual, there will be Rush Daily, of course, but there will be always some personal vlogging stuff coming up, but not as usual and as many episodes as the Rush thing that we did here. So see you guys, bye.